Hey everyone, welcome to the Canine Culture Podcast, where we talk about everything dog. Q&As with veterinarian professionals, rescue operators, everyday topics. We cover everything dog on this podcast. So make sure you subscribe to the Canine Culture Podcast on your favorite podcast platform, and make sure you're following us on social media on both Instagram and Facebook. Thanks again for listening. Now here's that next episode. Hey everyone, welcome to the Canine Culture Podcast. This is your host, Brittany, and today we are joined by Mark Fox. Mark is a pioneer in the biohacking space. He is going to talk to us a little bit today about a particular PEMF device that I'm excited to hear about, and also a little bit of what he's got going on. So Mark, thank you for joining us today.
Hey, thank you so much for having me.
So Mark, your background is impressive. And when I first got the email for you to come on the podcast, I was like, an aerospace engineer, military service. I'm like, wait a second, what is this guy doing? And I read further and I said, so he's making PEMF devices. Interesting. And more, right? So tell us your background and how you got into this space with integrative health and entrepreneurship.
Yeah, I mean, never had any intent to do anything like that. My background originally was space shuttle program. I was a chief engineer on the solid rocket boosters. I started a bunch of different companies after that, created DNA from, or music and art from your DNA. I've tried different things. I still own part of a women's clothing company. So I've done a whole bunch of different stuff. How I got into this energy therapy and never planned to, it was my dog. So my dog 30 years ago couldn't come upstairs one morning. Mm-hmm. And so we took her to the veterinarian, had her x-rayed, and she had, unfortunately, severe arthritis in her spine. Mm-hmm. And they're like, well, there's not a lot we can do for her. Give her Rimadyl, that kind of thing.
Right.
And then a veterinarian that I knew in Houston, a very good friend of mine, he's like, hey, I talked to him and he goes, now there's this magic machine in Oregon that can reverse, arthritis or that kind of ailment with frequencies and energy. And I'm like, yeah, I'm a scientist. I don't really believe that, but it's my dog, so I'm going to go look into it. So that was literally that. Just a picture of it right here. That was literally like 30 years ago. So that's how I learned about it and got into energy therapy. And I didn't dive straight into it. I kind of dabbled with it because I was still doing keynote presentations and teaching creative thinking and those type of things. But then I saw what it could do for PTSD. That was the first thing I noticed, was how successful it was for that. And it really just made me angry because the technology is being held hostage in a clinical environment with expensive machines. And I'm like, well, this sucks. I mean, you got all these suicides daily, and we have a solution for PTSD that's not a drug. Why hasn't someone invented an affordable device? So that's what took me down the path to go invent it initially.
Tell us then how, Resona Health, is that your company, and did you kind of kick that off once you started dabbling more into the energy space and learning more about this?
I don't know if it's my company since all my team members kind of have taken over a lot of stuff, but yes, I'm the one that started it and I'm the one that invented it. It was me in the fish tank 2 years ago, and then first person we brought on, a team member. Now we have about 10 or 11 people. So I'm the one that's doing all the inventions of it. I do the marketing and the CFO, those type of things. I have a lot of operations people and customer service people that help me. But yeah, so I'm the one that's invented, the devices. But of course, I'm not an electrical engineer, so I can't design one of these printed circuit boards. I can tell the engineers what it needs to do, and then they go and design it, right? That type of thing.
So the product that really stood out for me, it's called the Vibe. It's a PEMF device, and any of my listeners have probably heard some other people kind of throw that term out there, whether they say PEMF, maybe they say PEMF. Everyone has it a little bit different, but tell us a little bit about that device. What does it do? Kind of how does it work in the most simplistic terms for the layperson?
Yeah, so PEMF stands for pulse electromagnetic fields, and it's actually the Earth's heartbeat. I mean, it sounds fancy, but you're surrounded in it. And I like to kind of explain it as at a higher level it's an energy transfer, and nothing in the world happens without an energy transfer. You don't drive your car, eat food, make s'mores on a campfire, fall down, get hurt, you don't get sunburn. Everything is energy transfer, and it can be transferred with electrical current, like a TENS unit with pads. PEMF is magnetic field, which just makes it more convenient because there's no wires on you. Or it can be light, sound, or vibration. Those are all energy transfer. And what it's actually doing is what you're asking. At the most fundamental level, the cells in your body have an electrical charge like a car battery, and when that voltage gets low, you get sick, and the cell's inefficient. It can't get nutrients in and get waste products out. So it recharges cells' batteries. That's been proved multiple times. And then ATP, which is the main fuel that your cells use, the main chemical that your cells use for fuel, it increases ATP up to 500%. So those two main things, it's recharging your cells' batteries, and it's giving your cells a food supply so your body and your cells can do what they do best, which is heal themselves.
My understanding of the technology as well is there's different frequencies, like there's certain, X to Y, and so on and so forth that help, whether it's with inflammation, maybe it's with anxiety. And so can you tell us a little bit about like different frequency-based therapies and kind of what they help?
Yeah, in this PMF world, there's a lot of different products and approaches to it, like beamer mats and those type of things will use a sine wave that just kind of moves around a certain amount of frequencies. My products are much more specific. If they're frequency pairs actually, and frequency A is where is it and B is what's wrong with it. And if you picture a chord on a guitar, right, it's two frequencies at the same time. And then the protocols are songs. So it comes from a lot of trial and error of, I always use like the Bee Gees as an example. They put out like 150 songs before they ever had a hit. So picture a pickup band in a garage, throw in some cowbell, take out some bass, put in a horn. They're changing the song, trial and error to see what works. And that's where these come from. So for PTSD, for example, it's one of the most complex protocols. It's 76 different frequency pairs that are changing every 1 to 4 minutes. So there's 60 different protocols on there. They're all different. They're all completely different songs. If you picture like multiple albums, and they can come from a lot of trial and error from a lot of different clinicians over 35, 40 years now. So that's where they come from. They're much more specific than just, because we get asked that every day. What frequency does it run at? Well, it's between 1 and 1,000 hertz, but it's proprietary, but it wouldn't even be helpful for me to show you what the frequencies are, because what are you going to do with them? Because there's a whole history of where they came from, and they're not static. I mean, most of them are, but we have to create new protocols all the time because something works better or we don't have a solution at all, and you got to go put some logic together. What would, for example, Lyme disease. I got asked that 200 times. What do you have for Lyme disease? I go, nothing. And then it's like, okay, there's so many people asking for it. I went and looked at, do the research, what would work, blah, blah, blah. And then it's a lot of trial and error.
Oh, wow. Okay. And then for dogs, what would you say most commonly, like top 3 or 4 uses for the PEMF technology for a dog?
And to be clear, because this is confusion all the time, I don't know if it's good or bad, I purposely designed it to work for people and pets, so you didn't have to have 2 or 3 products, right? A dog and a horse is the same as a person. Just they got 4 legs and one of them weighs 1,000 pounds, okay? But they have the same stuff we do. But to answer your question, and everyone can relate to this, separation anxiety is going to be a huge one for dogs, right? So anxiety in general, we have what's called the power of 4. So we have 4 protocols. One's anxiety, one's relax and balance, one's vagus nerve, and one's PTSD. So if your dog is a rescue, there's a high probability they have some PTSD or trauma because they were in jail and they didn't deserve it and they don't know why they were there, right? So anxiety is going to be one of the top ones. Separation anxiety, all that. Arthritis, of course, mobility, general inflammation, and unfortunately a lot of times wound healing, right? They hurt themselves almost as much as horses that run into stuff all the time, or another horse. Our chief veterinarian officer told me this morning, he goes, horses are just mean bastards. They bite each other. That's why they're naked in the woods, because they will rip stuff off of each other. And I'm like, yeah, okay. But that's the answer. Mostly it's going to be arthritis, separation anxiety, those type of things.
Okay. Yeah, our oldest dog was using this technology for arthritis, And then we had another Pomeranian who passed, and her anxiety was through the roof. We rescued her when she was 11 years old. She had never been pet, or she had never been outside. She was part of a breeding operation, essentially a puppy mill, if you will. And so she was terrified of people. And of course, I was always taking her places. And so she was real quick to take to this technology. And she's the reason we went through, not your device, but a different device. We went through 3 of them because we used it so often. And it was very convenient. I didn't have to worry about giving her, well, she took some medication, don't get me wrong, but I was able to cut back on some of those recommended medications and use that technology. And so we have found a lot of use and a lot of help in it. And it's interesting that you have these different protocols, because I've seen, prior to this, I've always seen kind of like a one size fits all, or a mat with like 4 different knobs. And it's like, if you're within this frequency, it's relaxation. If you're within this frequency, it's focus. And sometimes it's kind of hard to figure out. You're like, am I doing the right one? Because it's a little unclear. So I like that the Vibe has the different protocols that you can follow to a T. Like it's very simple.
What's interesting for dogs, horses, and cats is if you're running the wrong protocol, they will let you know. If you're running the right one, they will let you know. So a cat will run away from it, or they'll lay on it and yell if you take it from them if you have the right one. So will a dog. Even with horses too, and that's one of the biggest challenges we have is, what's weird, you asked me about PEMF earlier. If you go man on the street with a microphone, you go, hey, do you know what PEMF is? It used to be 1 out of 20 people. Now it's about 1 out of 15. They're going to know what a beamer mat is or something, right?
Right.
But it's not, still 90% of people don't know what it is. In the horse world, 100% of people know what it is. They know what MagnaWave is. Their horse has been treated with it in the past, or some other horse at the stable has been treated with it. So my biggest challenge with my avatar for marketing point of view is a 52-year-old cowgirl when it comes to horses. And you got to convince them that this little 2.4 ounce thing is going to do something for a 1,000-pound animal. It will. Right. And horses and dogs and cats, and everyone knows this that owns one when I say this, they're more energy sensitive than people are.
Right.
You don't need bigger is better on these type of machines, even though the animal, like a horse, is actually bigger.
Mm-hmm. For this device, so how big is the part that's kind of in contact with your body? Is it, or do you have different size options, or how does that work?
Now this is the device right here. It looks like on purpose, it looks like an old iPod player.
Yeah. Uh-huh.
And actually what it is, honestly, I went round circles and circles with the engineering. This is actually an MP3 player without a speaker. So all the protocols are actually MP3 files. They're songs that I created on a music synthesizer. So it's actually a music player that doesn't have a speaker that your ears can't hear, but your body can. So this is the size of it. It weighs 2.4 ounces, like I said. On a horse, it's going to go on a holder like this that goes around their neck that sits on their vagus nerve, and that will give them full body access. For dogs, I can run over here and grab them. Let me grab one real quick.
Okay.
And there's pretty tough devices because I just threw it across the room and it didn't break. But for a dog, you have a custom harness, and it has a pocket in here that you put in, and it fits basically over the dog's heart, which is the same logic I used for the pendant. Was a lot of people don't know this, is your vagus nerve comes down both sides of your neck. Most people know that, but it clusters around your heart and it goes to your organs. So if you can access the energy at the heart level, so our chief veterinarian, he's used these devices before we ever brought him on the team, but he treats like 40 dogs a day in a rehab center in Myrtle Beach. And he's like, Mark, either your device is better than everyone's, or it's because you're the only one that figured out to put it on the heart.
Right. Yeah, I haven't seen that yet. So it makes sense though, right? The way that you explained it. Because a lot of the devices are either literally a mat that you're begging your dog to lay on. You're like, please, I paid $800, just lay on this thing. And they don't want to. And then you have to worry about them maybe like chewing on it or peeing on it. And then some of the devices are like almost like a ring you like slip around their neck, but it's not adjustable, or like you can't secure it with anything. And it's very fragile. So then you have to be like, no, you have to sit still. You can't touch it. You can't chew on it. So that's brilliant to put it in a harness and in the spot that matters the most. I mean, that's simple. You just set it and leave it versus, some other things that we're kind of getting into to help dogs with arthritis. It's manual, right? You're hands on. You have to literally sit there and do whatever it might be. So I think that this is a great alternative for a lot of people, or an addition. So I'm curious, what have you heard some feedback from like vets or pet owners? What's some of the feedback you're getting?
Yeah, one thing about the harness, one of the, it's not very often, but one of the small complaints we get is the Velcro's too tough, the pocket. It's because I don't want that thing falling out, because we encourage them to run around at the dog park and get tore up, right, whatever, and do whatever they want and go swimming with it. Not swimming, but anything else running around. So what we've heard, like I said, his name's Dr. Tom Walsh. He has a rehab center in Myrtle Beach. He treats 40 dogs a day, and he uses it on every single one of them.
Oh, wow.
So and it's working. We know it's working. We can see the dogs. You can see all the feedback and stuff. The thing that we're doing right now, we have a clinical trial. So I've been wanting to invent a Fitbit for a dog and a horse for years. Mm-hmm. And it's hard to do because Fitbit watches, this is our watch, a Carrio watch, or a ring, or any of those things are using the same technology. They're using light that bounces off the skin and comes back to a sensor. Well, with a dog and a horse, you can't do that unless you shave them, and they don't want to be shaved to put something on them. So it's really hard to do it without probes or anything that go down to the skin. But we have partnered with a company in France. I saw him at a conference. I go, how the hell are you doing this? Because I've been working on this for 4 years. He goes, we don't use light. We use accelerometers and gyroscopes. And we figured out from that how to measure heart rate variability, respiration rate, Ponctiere, the number of times they bark, how much they sleep.
Oh, wow.
Activity. And so it's been very interesting is like the study that we're doing right now, as I said, okay, what's the most common study for pain and calmness, stress and calm in a dog? So I'm using the same thing all veterinarians use. There isn't one. I had to go create it. So I came up with the C3I. It's the Canine Comfort and Calmness Index. So I actually made that one first, then I copied it for horses, then I copied it for people. So the reason I copied it for people, instead of having to do a study on anxiety versus PTSD, every single ailment in the world does come down to stress and pain, whether it's mental or physical. So there's ways to go measure that. And it's funny because nobody has ever put one of these on a horse but me. So we're the only ones calibrating it right now to be able to measure what we're doing. So that's what we're hoping to do, get this study. We already know anecdotally it works. We know from pre and post surveys it works. And when people pick on that, it's 2026, and when you go into bleeding edge doctor's office, it's still an AVS scale, analog visual scale. It says a 0 to 10. 10, I'm crying. 3, I'm okay. And you go, I went from a 10 to a 3. And then you do all the statistical analysis on somebody subjectively saying they're a 10 or a 3. That's still what we use. We still use all those surveys that we created ourselves, but we're trying to get all this biomarker data. Like I said, this one's for horses and dogs, this one's for people, and we're putting that all into the analysis to go hopefully publishing a bunch of papers this year, because we have a lot of studies going on that we're doing right now.
So tell us about all of your different devices. You told me off air, and I love a lot of this like biohacking information and, a lot of things I think we're tapping into. Like right now I'm wearing a Garmin and an R ring, on the same arm. They're probably getting the same thing. So I'm interested to hear. So tell us about all the products that you have right now.
So we have the Vibe. That was the main product that we developed. This one is called Vega Vibe. We just talked about the vagus nerve. It's a vagus nerve stimulator that you just turn it on, and you don't have to do anything beyond that. You just wear it. This is not a therapy device, the Carrio watch. It is one that's measuring biometrics, right? So it's measuring heart rate variability, which not to pick on another product, but that ring you have on isn't really measuring heart rate variability. It's doing an estimate 4 hours while you're sleeping. We're measuring it at 15 minutes. So
interesting. Okay.
Purposely designed this watch because if you have to go measure something and you had to limit it, heart rate variability and sleep is going to be like two of the biggest things for people. So, and I just showed you this product 10 times what we have for dogs and animals. This one is This is based on MIT's accidental finding 10 years ago that 40 hertz reverses plaque in the brain and helps with Alzheimer's and cognitive impairment. So this is 40 hertz, and you mentioned before offline you didn't have a good tester. My wife thinks this is the dumbest thing I ever invented, but that's the tester to show people it's working.
Oh, to show that it's working.
Yeah. So there's a free app you can go download, but people struggle with the app. My wife goes, nobody's going to want that stupid little tube, and we give them.
I would.
We give them for free to every device, and when somebody loses it, they're like, I need another one. But you put this on the inside of your wrist, or you wear it, so it's PEMF and light. So you'd wear it like this, and it sits on the back of your neck. So we just completed a clinical trial with this. I know nobody wants to believe this because it is amazing. We had a 100% success rate.
Oh,
So
wow.
it was really weird because when the data would come in chunks, there's a point about halfway through I didn't want to look anymore because I go, we're still at 100, but that's unethical. I'm like, I'm running this study, right? I even asked ChatGPT, do I have to finish the study? Yes, you do. My wife goes, you're having an ethical argument with ChatGPT. I'm like, yeah, I know. So we ended up having a 100% success rate with cognitive improvement.
Oh, wow.
Just wearing this 1 hour a day for 30 days, 3 to 4 times a week, an hour a day. They don't have to wear it every single day. So those are the devices. We have some other top secret stuff coming out, but I've been accused of multiple people now, inventitis, and quit inventing so much stuff. Since we're not making any money, because Mark Zuckerberg has all my money, right? So I need.
Right.
It's totally true. The amount of marketing spend is ridiculous for this kind of stuff, for awareness, right?
Yeah.
You gotta it costs a lot of money to make noise.
Right.
A lot of money to make noise. So we're on Sirius XM radio right now. I'm on Google ads, Facebook ads. We're on Peacock TV, all that stuff. I'm not making any money, and I won't tell you because it's making me sick how much I spent this week just buying inventory. So every penny I made last year went into buying inventory, and I just bought another round of inventory of everything else again to try and keep stuff in the pipeline, right? Because we've sold out of this twice already, and everyone's angry. And it's kind of interesting because we did an upgrade yesterday that I didn't know she was even doing that, and it changed the inventory to show that I had 9,000 of those in inventory, and I have 0. And so we had a whole line of customers screaming because we didn't ship them yesterday. I'm like, what are they talking about? So anyway,
I mean, a lot of this, in addition to marketing and like letting people know the products out there, there's so much of it that's education, right? I mean, getting this into the right hands, whether it's, for pets, getting it to veterinarians, and then for humans, getting doctors, PTs, more people in kind of that profession, because I think both professions are pretty guilty of moving slow, right? I mean, technology will be 10 years ahead of anything they'll learn 20 years ahead. And so it's just there's such a barrier there. And then getting to the vets, we're all busy. They're busy seeing their patients. They're busy being inundated from drug companies and pet food and all kinds of different things that they're not able to sometimes break into some of these. I don't want to say newer because we know this has been around for a while, but some of the quote unquote newer technology that's hitting the market and truly has studies to support it. Even with PEMF, I mean, I've known about it for maybe 10, 15 years about the technology. And anytime I've brought it up to a vet, they're like, I'm not familiar. I've never heard of it. Or they're like, that won't work. And it's interesting because that's still where every vet that I see, that's still where they're at. They still have no idea about it. So it's just getting that word out there, sharing it with pet parents so they can even, the more that these vets are asked about it, whenever they hear, podcast episodes, it will prompt them to be like, all right, let me look into this. I've had 20 patients ask me, let me see what this is all about. And then to kind of have some of those papers and studies to back it up is helpful. Now I want to go back to what's the monitor called that tracks HRV for dogs and horses?
It's called Mini Tails, is what the name of it.
Mini Tails.
Yep.
So does that report back to an app, like an app that the pet owner would have on their phone?
Yeah, but it's 100 times cooler than that. Okay.
Okay.
So, yes, the pet owner can see what's on their phone and stuff. So it's heart rate variability, respiratory rate, Ponchier. So it has 5 or 6 things that are, you can tell an engineer built it, and I'm an engineer, okay? But I invented something called a Prana score, Prana, personalized resiliency and nervous system assessment, because people want to see a 0 to 100. Is my dog a 62 and they went to an 80? Are they getting better? How does my dog compare to Labrador retrievers of the same age? So we have, I have it right here on my screen, we have a NORAD control panel. I can see remotely every single dog and horse.
Oh, wow.
So we have AI tied in all this, where that's our marketing we're going after, is we are monitoring your dog 24/7, and we literally are. We have AI alerts everywhere. I'll tell a couple cool stories there. Is one, we saw the stress go up in this one dog over the weekend and went back on Monday is fine. We called the owner and said, did something happen to your dog this weekend? Why? Well, because we could see on our monitorings that something's different. Well, we went away for the weekend and had a dog sitter watching her. Okay, well, she maybe didn't like, is it a new dog sitter? Yes. Okay, she didn't know that dog sitter and was stressed out.
Oh, wow.
So we have that. We're going to be sending report cards once, I'm making it up. I'm saying once a month, they're going to get an automatic report. So my marketing is going to be, what's your dog's Prana score, your horse's Prana score? And if you don't know, you must not love them, right? So I'm creating the whole market. None of this exists. So we're making it all out of technology that's brand new. So yes, it's one of the most exciting things I'm doing, because this marker also GPS, so you could draw on your phone.
Oh.
If they get out of the yard, I want an alarm.
Yeah.
So I can see when my friend's dog Jumbo ran away the other day. I called it. Jumbo's out of the yard. He's gone because I got an alarm. He goes, you didn't get an alarm? He goes, I don't have my phone with me. Well, your dog's not in the yard anymore. Go find him, right? So that is some super, super cool stuff that we're doing right now. I even forgot what your question is, because I get too excited about this. I've actually had 4 meetings today on this subject with the veterinarian and building this stuff. And it's like, he's a veterinarian, super good guy. He's like, well, the AI didn't do this, blah, blah. I go, dude, we got to train it together and tell it what to do. So I give you, what we're doing is the dog owner fills out a questionnaire. We put it into our AI, and it says, here's the 3 protocols you ought to run and why on your dog. Have them wear this for a week before you run the protocol. Then run the 3 protocols for a month. Then do the post survey. We'll analyze all the data in the cloud on our NORAD Prana screen, which again, I'm getting excited because the new version came out 2 hours ago and it's doing twice as much stuff as I wanted it to do. Anyway, so yes, there's some super cool, exciting things we're doing on how to go measure improvement. And nobody in the horse world has this. Nobody.
Right.
There's nothing like this.
Yeah. As you're talking about it, a number of things came to mind. So that GPS tracker, a lot of us started to put air tags on our dogs, but if they're not able to bounce that signal off of a nearby Wi-Fi, you're not going to have that signal. Or the air tags get wet and they get ruined, or they fall out of the little holder. There's a lot of different reasons that just didn't work the way a lot of us wanted to. So having that capability for the GPS, and then
to be clear on that, it's using real GPS. It's not bound. This is not bouncing off cell towers. It's using satellite GPS, and it's waterproof. Because one of the design criteria is, right, a dog's got to be able to go swimming with it.
Right. Especially like going on long hikes and.
Yes.
Oh, okay. The other thought I had was you're measuring HRV, respiratory rate, all of that. And I think of it very much the way that I think of my wearables. If you're out of range on 2 or 3 things, especially for 2 or 3 nights in a row, it will then ping you like you, and mine hasn't done it for a while, but it might be like, oh, you're getting sick, or, like it might preemptively let someone know. And so I'm thinking, like with the dog, if they're getting a respiratory infection, or, a lot of times dogs with cancer, unfortunately, we don't notice until it's a little bit too late. So maybe some of these markers would indicate something sooner to us, be like, hey, I got to check something out. I got to go to the vet, let them know that these values have all dropped from here to here. So I think these are just all great data points for preventative medicine, And
it's not a maybe, it's a for sure. And we actually can set limits for each dog on each one of those parameters. And if it goes outside that limit, and I'll give you a perfect example. Jumbo, he's 8 months old, okay? it gave me alarms and stuff because he was burning too many calories. So I was like, oh yeah, he's 8 months old and he's on the beach with a ball. We're throwing a ball. Right. Okay. This happened to me today. So I used the same prana thing for humans. It said you're pretty healthy, Mark, for a person your age. However, your heart rate's a little too high. It averages like 82 or something. I go, yes, but I walk 6 miles a day with it at 120.
Right.
Oh, okay. So we need to change the algorithm that's doing Laplace transforms. It's actually doing the math to flatten that out and make it more realistic. So those things are all learning stuff that we're doing. That's why I recently added in, how is your dog doing? It was, how is your dog doing compared to himself? Because I wanted to show improvement with our products, right? Our vibe. Mm-hmm. The second one that I said wasn't smart enough till 2 months ago is like, but I need to compare it to age and breed of similar size, because this kind of dog at 12 years old is completely different than a Rottweiler at 6 months old, right? So
right.
That's my sinister plan, is to help dogs. Because this is a back way into it. And it's like, because I'm a super dog lover, and it's like, and to answer your question earlier, that's totally, I'm going to give 2 examples of it, is when people say my dog jumps off the couch and they could never do that before, or haven't in a couple years, they're scratching to go out instead of just standing in the door. They do all these behavioral things, right, that are not being measured this way. They're not being measured with anybody. And what I tell people, one of the best litmus tests to see if our products are working, ask your friends and family if you're better. And because people don't see it a lot in themselves, and they'll go, yeah, my wife doesn't want a divorce anymore. How'd you know? Or my kids, it's happened multiple times. My kids want to hang out with me now. Tom invited me over to the picnic last weekend. He hasn't invited me for 2 years. I asked him why, and he goes, because you weren't being a dick anymore. Literally. Those kind of comments, so people don't see it in themselves, and people forget how they felt 30 days ago. Now, I'll get in trouble for this, but I'm sticking to it. Human beings would not exist if women didn't forget how painful the first birth was, because they would only have one baby and there would be a replacement for all 2 of us, right? So
right.
We're psychologically designed to forget things that are painful. And so we have tons and tons of data like that, where PTSD people will go, I wish I could use all the videos I have, but out of personal respect, I don't. I've had people get on a Zoom call like this and go, so what do you think about the advice? You go, well, it might have helped a little, but I don't think it really helped much. I go, you went from the highest score you can get is an 80 on a PLC-5. You had a 72 that you self-reported 30 days ago. You just reported a 12. 72 to 12. And they start crying on camera because they forgot how bad they felt a month ago.
Yeah.
It's a weird thing. And I've talked to many doctors, psychologists, stuff about it. And they're like, oh, that's true in every intervention in the world. People forget. My friend who's a chiropractor who I've grown up with since kindergarten, he goes, I get a new patient, I videotape everything, because they come in on a walker, second time they're on a cane, third time they're holding a puppy or lap dog. And they're like, well, I can always do this. You couldn't do that. You couldn't even move months ago.
Right.
So that happens a lot.
It's a lot of things that are hard to measure ascertainably and to have like written down in literature. But I think a lot of these subjective cues and these anecdotes are helpful for this kind of thing, right? I mean, like you said, a lot of this isn't measured, but this observation alone is proof that these technologies are working. They're helping people, they're helping dogs, they're helping horses, cats. They're their own. We leave cats alone, right? They're their own. We don't try to control them.
It works with cats too, but all the Facebook haters, here's what I say to them, because I have so many of them, it's ridiculous. It's like when they start the argument about placebo effect and it's a fake and you're stealing money from old ladies and all this, I go, you know what? It's not 100% placebo. There's some placebo. There has to be. I'm not going to argue that. However, when somebody has a gun in their mouth, they want to commit suicide, and now they don't, I don't care if it's 100% placebo.
Right.
I know that it's not, but I just don't care, because
right.
they're still with us and they're living. And that's happened. I don't want to cry, because that's happened many, many times. We just hired a new person to answer phones. It's customer service week before last. And this is what I tell everyone that comes on to our team. It's going to be the most rewarding job you've ever had in your life. But this is not Housewives of Orange County. This is not a reality show. People
Right.
come to this technology that are physically or mentally in long-term pain or both. And we've had people, tortured, kidnapped, miscarriages, crappy boyfriends and husbands, right?
Mm-hmm.
Bad kid, just murder in the family, cancer, all of these things. So when they pick up the phone and call us, these are real people you're talking to about real stuff. And you probably just saw last night, maybe you did it on the national news, that Alan Osmond died. He was the oldest brother of the Osmonds. He has our device, love him, and he has MS. And I've had multiple Zoom calls with him, and just to listen to his story of how nothing's helped him for 40 years and this did. I was like, it. Sylvester Stone's brother helped him a lot. I said, can you get Sylvester just to endorse it? And he goes, nah, he's very private. He's not going to go do that. I'm like, okay.
Just secretly have a mic on and get him to say something about it and then use it.
Well, here's how weird the AI world is. This is just crazy. Samuel L. Jackson has done 3 public service announcements for me for free. And everyone in the world thinks it's AI, and they're all screaming at me, going, you suck. Why would you AI him? You're going to go to jail. You're a bad person. We took the ads down. I took a month of abuse, and it's really him that was shot in a studio, but nobody thinks it is. So it's like, all right, uncle. I gave up on that one.
Yeah. You're like, I'm trying, guys, but then you guys just want to push back. The keyboard warriors are something else, but we won't get into them. So, is there anything new coming up for pets that you can tell us about?
Well, like I said, we're on the bleeding edge of all the studies we're doing right now. I literally bought all this inventory. Today's Wednesday, on Monday. Okay, so that's how new it is. I bought it and it doesn't exist yet. We only have a couple hundred units until June, till the rest of them are coming. We are top secretly hydrogen bottles. You're probably familiar with them, but we're going to, if it works, I gotta go if it works first, put the Vibe technology into a hydrogen bottle so you can infuse it into water. And you can take these frequencies and infuse it into water. It's good for about 6 hours. Or you can antidotally, or you can put it into cream. That antidotally you can show it lasts about 30 days. If that works, and it will, I'll probably make I'm going to probably make a dog water bowl that you run the protocols on your app for arthritis or whatever they want. The reason I haven't done it, one of the reasons I haven't done it yet is money. But the other one is what you just said. Dogs do like to chew stuff.
Yeah.
And I got to get power to that bowl, and I don't want a cord going to it. I'm trying to design a dog-proof chew power cord, because that's the real technology, is so that they can't tear it up. I had a lady the other day go, hey, your Vibe quit working. I'm like, drop it, do anything to it? No, we didn't do anything to it. I just need a new one. Give me another one. Okay. Well, she sends it back to me. It has 36 dog bite holes in it. I go, you sure your dog didn't get a hold of this? No, I don't think so. I go, you got to be kidding me. It looked like Swiss cheese. Like, okay, lady.
So, Mark, tell everyone where they can find all of these products. Tell us website, social media, give us everything.
So Resona, it shorts for resonance, RESONA.health, Resona.health. That has all our products. You'll see everything there. If you Google Mark Fox, you're going to find a Navy Admiral and a basketball coach. If you put in Mark L. Fox, like you have my name right here, you will find too much of me, and you will probably hate me because all your Facebook feed is going to be nothing but me. Because Zuckerberg has all my money. I have so many friends who are like, stop running ads. You're killing me. I can't see anything but you. I don't want to look at you constantly. I just had a friend retire last weekend, and every person at the party yelled at me. It's like,
Tell them, be like, hey, if you buy one of my products, they'll go away. You and I both know it's not true, but that's how we're going to get sales.
well, one guy actually said, I bought 4 of these and I thought it would quit. So you need to quit running ads to people who bought them. I'm like, we're trying to do some of that sort of. But Zuckerberg does whatever he wants in the algorithm. We all know that. We don't control it. So.
Right, exactly. Well, Mark, thank you for joining us. I'm excited about all of these technologies, all of the studies that you're working on. I'm hoping to see some papers from you this year, and just thank you for everything you're doing for our pets.
Thank you so much for having me. I really appreciate it. This is fun.
Thank you for tuning in to the Canine Culture Podcast. Please make sure you subscribe to the Canine Culture Podcast on your favorite podcast platform, and make sure you're following us on social media. If you have any recommendations, any topics that you'd like to hear, if you know of any guests that would be good for the show, or if you yourself want to be a guest, please reach out to us. Send us an email at canineculturepodcast@gmail.com, or send us a direct message on social media. Thank you for listening, and please share this with any of your dog-loving friends.